Hi guys, it's Angie here. I thought it's about time I actually make a video instead of talking about it. The idea was that I wanted to make my own sort of behind the scenes manga series, being an independent mangaka in Australia, but I thought, it's going to take too long. I was really inspired by Naoki Urasawa, who made the Man Ben mangaka series showing behind the scenes, Japanese mangaka at work. But I thought, I just don't have time as much as I'd like to do it, maybe one day with, staff. But for now, I'm just going to do what I can. So here we are. Woohoo! So today I'm going to be doing a traditional screen tone, which I haven't really done much before. This is my first try. As you can see, it's a little bit rough. There's quite an art to it. So this is what I'm going to do. Woo! Yeah. So at the moment I'm working on a one-shot, which is a 10-page story, and I'm submitting that to G'day Punch magazine. This is kind of like a break for me in between my career issues. So this is my series career. Most of you are my patrons, so please excuse me. The idea is that I'll be releasing these videos to you guys first and then later to the public. So, if you are watching this and you don't, support me on Patreon and you would like to, then please, please, please. I'd really appreciate anything at all. This is my one shot. It's called Phoenix Enter the Ring, and it's about two female boxers. The main idea is that the main character, she's always listened and she's always been very loyal, and a lot of myself is in this story, and she comes to a point where she can no longer serve others' wishes over her own, and this is the point where she's like, no, frick it, I'm just gonna bash you. Because she was the fight that she's in this manga is that she has to lose because she used to be an actress, and the fight was set up so that she would look like even more of a loser because she gave up her acting career and now she's chosen to be a boxer. So this is a screen tone. I just got these screen tones randomly, and there wasn't really many to choose from, to be honest, because I got them from like a table at a convention that I did. But this one looked like it could be useful in a lot of ways. Like here, it just seems to be a perfect fit because she's in the ring, and like the light source that I've chosen is coming from both angles, and this is what the screen tone is doing. So I'm very happy with that. Now remember, I haven't really done this and I don't have the proper tools either. So I've selected what I'm going to use and where I'm going to put it. I just need to cut it. Looks good. Yeah, normally I use digital screen tones, and I've started using Clip Studio, and that's great. But I've still sort of struggled getting real sort of screen tones that don't pixelate. Like I recently did a piece for the Talking Bread anthology. So annoyed with the pixelation that came up, and I'm sorry, Kieran, but I'm really happy with it too. But I just was so annoyed that I got the pixelation coming up, which sort of made me think, well, screw it, let's try some traditional screen tones that won't screw it up. I used to use a software called GIMP, which is free software, and that has like a newspaper print screen tone that works very nicely. So this is my courier series. This is my third issue, which I haven't actually used any screen tones in, I don't think. Oh yeah, I've used it. That's the newsprint, which is really sort of nice. It's anyway. Let's try this out. I'll get these out of the way because they're the other pages. I just hope that I don't run out of battery. Okay, so first of all, we peel this off. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. You better get this right. Shit. Ta-da! I love it already. Oh, that's great. Oh my god. Now this is a tricky bit. This is a bit where you usually have like this, it's a Stanley knife, but it's quite more intricate. And this is all I've really got. I've got a Stanley knife. And I hope that it's good enough. So now I'm gonna cut out the figure from the light source in the background. This is gonna be tricky, but here goes nothing. Okay. Yeah, so I just discovered this magazine called G'day Punch, and it's made here in Australia. And anyone can submit a one-shot to it. And I thought it was just the best thing ever. Because I'm a self-published creator at the moment, and I think, you know, I think like I've done a few published works for other people, like as an illustrator, but I think like being self-published really helps you get out there. So now I've cut this. It's actually looked alright. I can just start to lift that up. This is really fun. I think it's important as an artist to try new things and keep it fresh. Experiment. Oh, shit. As you know, even if it's ridiculous. I'm a big fan of retro manga. So I try and work traditionally as much as possible. It's a bit more expensive, like especially like when you're earning a living from it. It can be more expensive. It's more expensive than working digitally because you have to buy all the products. But luckily, like my Patreon account at the moment covers all that, which I'm very grateful for. Very grateful for. Thank you. So now, right, so far I've cut out the pants. They're pretty dirty anyway, because I redrew this pose quite a few times. I really wanted to push myself with my techniques this issue, which is why I chose, another reason why I chose to do this in between my career series, because I wanted to try out new techniques and push them. So here I've worked more on physique, and I've worked more on the weights of lines and the curves of lines with my G-nib. La, 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 la. Yeah, I don't have any music on it at the moment because I don't want anyone to be like, it's copyrighted. And you know, I understand that because I'm also a musician. Maybe I can make my own tracks sometime. We live in a funny world today where it's do it yourself. There's a lot of, you know, freeware out there, but I think, you know, you gotta give credit to everything you use, like everything you're using, like online, any sort of file, any imagery you're using, someone has created that, and you've got to like acknowledge it if you can. Like, this is why Patreon's so great. That's why I'm on it. Shit. So the paper I'm using is it's Manga paper I got in Japan while I was over there last year, from Tokyo Hands, which is a department store over there, and they have like amazing stationery. I'm about to run out though, so I'm wondering where I can get more from. This paper is flimsier than Bristol board, which is like what comic artists use, supposedly. But it's quite, I find that it's a lot better for inking, because the ink dries quicker. Although the last place I was living, shwakes, that's right, I don't want it to come off. The last place I was living, I got water. It was a really shit place to live, and there was water leaking through the roof, and I came home and it was all over my page. And the paper crumbled. I'm pretty careless with my work anyway, so like, you know, that seemed to be pretty rough, so it's good to, I like working with a thicker paper because of that. But you know, come off, off. I'm getting there. I need a couple more there. I just went to the UK and I met some awesome people over there. I just bought, what do you call it? Neon Genesis, whatever. And I love the art style in that. I kind of like took what the chick was wearing and used it in this character design. You know, I don't mind doing that because, this is what you call a one-shot, and it's like a promo anyway. I sort of made, you know, my character look very daggy with the loose pants. I'm trying to be like careful because the last screen tone I did, or the last screen tone I did, I ended up ripping everything. But this Stanley knife's working alright, you know? Alright. Dun da da da. Look at this. There we go. If I just cut it at the neck, it'll come off. You know, I don't like wasting this, but there's little bits I could probably use for other bits. Ta-da! That's awesome. I just see already like the contrast between the black lines that are hard and the sort of screen tone that's very sort of subtle. It really is already bringing the figure out in the foreground more, which is fantastic. It's exactly what I was hoping for. I am gonna like add another screen tone like here, to sort of like bring out that whole middle section of the figure will be in a shade. But I wanted it to be very sort of monotone, so I couldn't find a traditional screen tone for that, so I might do that on the computer. And this bit's gonna take forever because of all the different little nicks. Da 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 da. Oh, see that ripped? Ripped, it ripped, it ripped. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to leave a comment. So my main series, Courier, is set in Tasmania, where I grew up, in the 1940s, and it follows Geraldine Barker, who is a worker for the Postmaster General's Department, which is like the old post office department back during the Second World War. And it's sort of like, it's my first ever like comic, or manga, whatever you want to call it. Oh my god. And it's kind of like evolved as I've evolved, and there's only one last issue to go. Geraldine Barker is, she's like a photographer. Her hobby is being a photographer. And she has this sentimental attachment to the Tasmanian tiger. And for those that don't know, the Tasmanian tiger is like, it went extinct around that time. And it's a huge loss. Some people still believe it's out there, and I think that's fine to believe. I've always been curious about it. I think a lot of people do, and there's a lot of mythology about it, and I thought that'll be a great element to chuck in the story. But it's not really about the Tasmanian tiger at all. It's about Geraldine and her past and the people in her life, and her own internal struggles. You really should check it out. I didn't really talk about it well there, but I'm trying to focus on this. Now, did I cut that bit? Yeah. So for this illustration, I didn't want to draw her eyes because, like her eyeballs, because it kind of shows like shows a power, just this sort of rage within her that's sort of like it's not human, it's something else, and I think that's a great way to show you a character that's just lost it. Oh dear. So what I will be doing is that I will be taking you through the stages of creating a comic from start to finish. This is just a test. It's a good test though. You're just the test. We've got a real great community here in Melbourne. It's also very segregated as well because everyone's so unique. It's kind of hard to like find the middle ground. But I think now the scene here in comics is growing, and it's becoming more of something that people are understanding, that comics and manga is not about superheroes or not about supernatural things, or it's like, what am I saying? I'm saying that there's a genre for everyone, and people are realizing that this is why I'm drawing two women boxing, because like I want to create my own kind of genre or my own style. I want to portray women the way I see them, the way I feel being a woman. And, I don't see it. I see it every now and then, but I keep seeing women portrayed the same way. I don't want to go into that now because I'm not prepared to talk about that. But it's so empowering getting your thoughts and your feelings and your interpretation out there. And I think that's the powerful thing about making comics. I might mention though, like, also in this one shot, I've got an African American woman, and I wanted to do her her skin tone without whitewashing her. So I've done all her skin tones in black inks, or tried to anyway, and that's been fun and challenging too. I don't know how it's going to be received though. It just got really dark in here. Because it's quite liney. Can you see? Yeah, so it's just this here, like, it's been hard because it's made me think more about my light sources and stuff. Oh, there's a bit there. But, you know, overall I'm happy with it, and I hope it's received well. And I don't want to, like, be offensive. Oh shit, I just broke a bit off. See that? This stuff's fickle. It's probably why I should use a real tool. Now that bit is the shape that goes back in there. Go back where you came from. It's lucky. Yeah, it's a very fragile thing. I'm happy with that though. How beautiful. The great thing about being self-published is that you can be releasing work while you improve instead of waiting until you're good enough to, like, submit to a publisher, which is tough if you don't have the skills, like, or you can't even, like, finish a story idea. Or it's good to just, you know, use what you got now. And you never know where the world's going, so just, if you want to do something, do it now. Don't wait. That's why I do this. The last piece. Ta-da! Ta-da! Doop-a-doop-a-doo. So here we go. Finished that one anyway, but thank you for watching. This is just the beginning, so stick around. I'm Angie Spice, and I'll see you soon. See you later.